Imagine being ripped from the searing heat of West Africa, shipped across the ocean, and thrown headfirst into mud, cold, and brutal trench warfare Europe. These men fought for a country they had never seen, and died for liberties they did not possess. They were the Tirailleurs Sénégalais. Their sacrifice was immense, yet their story has been nearly erased. Welcome to our channel, where we shine a light on the forgotten corners of history. Today, we are honored to tell the story of the Tirailleurs Sénégalais, thousands of West African soldiers who served in the French colonial army during World War I. This is a story of fierce loyalty, brutal discrimination, and the grim reality that colonial sacrifices are often the deepest and the least remembered. When the guns of World War I boomed in 1914, the echoes reached distant colonies. France desperately needed manpower, and the solution lay in their vast African territories. Despite the name suggesting Senegal, these troops were recruited from across French West Africa, Mali, Guinea, and others. They were grouped under one collective name, the Tirailleurs Sénégalais, Senegalese riflemen. The recruitment process was harsh, often involving forced conscription known as l'impotence du sang, the blood tax. Yet, for many, the promise of a French passport, meager pay, and a chance at life away from colonial exploitation offer a flicker of hope. The French leadership believed these soldiers possessed a primal ferocity, a mythologized, terrifying attribute they termed elan. They were viewed as the perfect shock troops, ready to handle the most savage battles. The reality these soldiers faced was unimaginable. They traded the tropical warmth of West Africa for the endless mud, freezing cold, and sanitation nightmares of the Western Front. The trenches were a world away from home, a place constantly filled with shelling, disease, and existential dread. They quickly gained a reputation for extraordinary bravery and fierce fighting spirit. In battles like the Second Battle of Champagne, 1915, they fought with decisive strategy, terrifying the German forces. They were routinely assigned the most dangerous charges, leading the bayonet assaults, often equipped with little more than rifles and their unwavering courage. However, the cold was their true enemy. Accustomed to a tropical climate, thousands of tirailleurs suffered agonizing illnesses from frostbite and pneumonia during Europe's harsh winters. French commanders, in an astonishing act of callousness, frequently relocated them to the Mediterranean region during the winter months, treating them less like soldiers and more like seasonal tools. The sacrifice reached its peak during the disastrous Nivelle offensive in April 1917. This campaign, especially at the Chemin de Dames Ridge, became a bloodbath. The tirailleurs were deployed in massive waves. Their units suffered staggering losses, sometimes losing over 70% of their men in a single day of fighting. The German troops, seeing the distinctive uniforms and the waves of dark-skinned soldiers, fought them with maximum intensity, fueled by racist propaganda. General Charles Mangin, a key proponent of using African troops, became notorious for his cold calculation. He believed the lives of colonial soldiers could be spent liberally for French victory. The tirailleurs faced a deadly paradox. Their effectiveness in battle led to their continuous use as expendable cannon fodder. Amidst the horror, personal stories of incredible heroism emerged. Men like Corporal Seydou Sissoko, who served with distinction, exemplified loyalty and an unbreakable fighting spirit. Yet, the recognition they received paled in comparison to their white French comrades. The numbers are staggering, a silent testament to the sacrifice. By the end of the war, an estimated 170,000 African troops had fought for France on the Western Front. Of those, over 30,000 were killed. This was a disproportionate loss for the communities they left behind. The tragedy did not end on the battlefield. When the war concluded in 1918, the surviving Tirailleurs were often treated not as liberators, but as foreign laborers. They faced discrimination, delays in receiving their promised pay, and a stunning lack of recognition for their pivotal role in defending the French Republic. In the decade that followed, France largely chose to forget the Tirailleurs. Their sacrifices were minimized in official histories, a phenomenon historians call the historical erasure of colonial contributions. However, the memory of the war lingered in their communities. The war experience planted the seeds for future independence movements. The returning men had seen the intimate vulnerability of the French and had experienced camaraderie with white soldiers. They had a new perspective on the world and their place in it. They returned home with the painful realization that France's concept of equality applied only in theory, not in the trenches where they bled. Today, monuments are finally being erected and films are being made in their honor. But it took nearly a century for France to truly acknowledge the profound debt owed to these men, who were asked to defend abstract principles for a nation that treated them as second-class citizens. The story of the Tirailleurs Sénégalais is a powerful and heartbreaking footnote to World War I. It reminds us that the highest cost of any war is often borne by those most vulnerable and least valued by the powers they serve. Their enduring loyalty in the face of prejudice is a testament to the extraordinary courage of the human spirit. If the story of these forgotten heroes moved you, please hit the like button and subscribe. Our goal is always to bring you honest and unfiltered historical experiences. But what happened when the Tirailleurs were deployed as occupation forces in the Rhineland after the war? Did their treatment improve, or did racial tensions explode? Join us in our next video to find out.